Thank you all for joining us, especially everyone on the YouTube live stream for our weekly happy hour, Economics on Tap. And joining me for Make Me Smart, Economics on Tap this week is Henry Epp, Marketplace's own, but I know you all were looking for a local reporter, and Henry has his own local reporting ties. Welcome to the show, Henry.
Thank you, Kimberly. It's great to be here.
So tell us about that. And not everybody knows that you've been a local reporter for a long time before you came to Marketplace.
I was a local reporter in Western Massachusetts for a long time, a local reporter and host, and in Vermont. And Vermont is where I still live, because a lot of us at Marketplace work remotely. We're distributed all around the country, so I get to do this job here from Burlington, Vermont.
Yes, and you had your buddy on the show the other
I
day.
did. Yeah, Marlon Hyde. Shout out to Marlon, who's now in Georgia, killing it. He was a fellow at Vermont Public Radio, um, maybe 4 years ago or more.
Hmm.
And I worked with him a lot when he was just starting out, and it's just so cool to see him doing so great and then being on Make Me Smart a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, look, as everybody watching knows, it has been a week of news. But first, we got to talk drinks. And I probably should acknowledge where I am because I am not in my normal home studio or the bureau. I am in Castleton, Virginia at my cousin's wedding, hence the very big hat because it was an outdoor wedding and it was a beautiful ceremony. So I dashed away just to hang out with our fun Economics on Tap crew for this. But what did you bring to drink? I just have wedding wine.
That's amazing. Well, first off, amazing dedication to make me smart, Kimberly, to do this from a wedding. I am drinking a beer from a beer brewery that's up the road here in Vermont called Zero Gravity. It's their Oktoberfest, um, a Marzen lager, felt seasonally appropriate. So there you go.
Marzen lager?
Yeah, I don't know what Marzen means.
You
German
know,
malts and hops.
okay.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like you are as much of a beer expert as Kai at this point because you did some reporting a while back about how the craft brewery business is like particularly robust in Vermont. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it is. I believe according to the Brewers Association, it is the has the most breweries per capita in the state, and Vermont is a small state, so the per capita thing gets a lot of play here. But yeah, we have a lot of really good craft breweries in Vermont. The story I did was, featured a couple different Vermont breweries, but was also from a national perspective, sort of looking at the what this industry group, the Brewers Association, calls maturing craft beer. Basically, the craft beer industry had a huge boom in the 2010s, and for various reasons, it is not so much a boom anymore. There were actually more breweries that closed in 2024 than opened, which was the first time that's happened in like 20 years. And I can get into the reasons for that if we want
Yeah,
to go there.
why? I'm
Yeah.
curious.
So, the way that it was sort of described to me by folks who are in this industry was, in that boom time in the 2010s, there were like a couple sort of big reasons for why it took off. One was capital was really cheap, interest rates were really low.
Hmm.
The ingredients, malt and hops and, aluminum cans, all that stuff was much cheaper because it just like wasn't a big thing yet. And as more and more breweries opened, it was the cool thing, right? Like I can attest to this as like, a millennial who came of age, drinking age, as the craft beer boom was happening. Like it was like, oh, there's a new brewery open, let's go check it out, right? And basically all of those things have reversed in the last few years. Interest rates are higher, ingredients, metal, everything that goes into making beer and building a brewery is more expensive, and it's not as cool anymore. Gen Z doesn't like craft beer like millennials did. And they're drinking less.
Is it
And
cringe, Henry? Is
I
it
think it's
cringe?
cringe. I think someone in the story referred to it as a dad drink. So I think it's a little cringe.
Oh.
Um, and there's other options, right? There's like hard seltzer, there's mocktails, there's just so much more in that sort of like having an interesting beverage space, right? And 10, 15 years ago, craft beer was really filling that and had more of an exclusive hold on that.
All right. Well, I'm going to check out what everybody's drinking in the YouTube live stream chat. First of all, shout out to Barbara, who had jury duty this week and still joined the show. So thanks for serving. Um, let's see. We've got Richard is drinking a real ale black quad Trappist style dark ale. Wow. Let's see. What else? What else? We've got a Mike is drinking La Fin de Monde Canadian Triple. Don't
Oh
know what that
yeah.
is, but it sounds. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, Fin de Monde is I think it's a Quebec brewery. I think it's in Montreal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Chris with the water, Lynn with the peppermint tea. Oh my gosh, I love peppermint tea
nice.
so much. Evil Genius says drinking in the fresh air on a dog walk. I have to say, the weather out here is beautiful. It was gorgeous for
Nice.
a wedding. We're in the mountains, and there was this beautiful sunset happening while they were taking their vows. It was so nice.
That's fantastic.
Oh, but not so nice was our news this week. Oh my
Mm.
gosh. We kind of threw it back old school this week. There was so much happening. We just decided to go with news fixes to kind of round up what was going on. And I wanted to highlight a story from Axios, and the headline kind of captures a lot of what's been happening. Trump charts a path to total control amid the government shutdown. And it just kind of clocks through all of these different things that Trump has been working on and doing all week in terms of really grabbing power, especially through the Office of Management and Budget during the shutdown, pulling funding from cities and particularly blue states. And all of that is going to be challenged, of course. Trying to do more layoffs and potentially
Mhm.
rescind even more funds. And I thought was particularly interesting about this Axios piece is that they have a very interesting photo illustration of a golden throne with a Make America Great Again hat sitting on it.
Mhm.
And having worked in a bunch of different countries, I can say pretty confidently that were the things happening in this country happening anywhere else in the world, we would be calling them authoritarian. We would be calling them anti democratic. And I think this is a really good reason that we are having a conversation next week on the show, kind of getting into some of the definitions of what these terms mean. It was
Mhm.
really fascinating in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's murder to hear this narrative coming from many on the right saying that even describing some of these moves as authoritarianism were, eliciting violence. And I think it's important to know what these terms mean and yes, be extremely careful about
Mhm.
how we use them.
Mhm.
But it is unquestionable that this administration, and they say it out loud, are working very hard to consolidate as much power as possible in the executive branch. Trump was shouting out Project 2025 and Russell Vote, and they are being very clear that they want less bipartisan negotiating as part of the budgeting process. They want less power for Congress in determining how, as a check on the executive, less power for judges, especially at the district level, in determining what the administration can or cannot do. So I hope folks that are curious about these kinds of terms and this kind of narrative discussion points will send in their questions for our show next week. We're going to bring on some experts to help us break down those terms.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, as this Axios story sort of, I mean, it's remarkable to sort of see it listed out. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this week included that, the meeting in Quantico with all of the generals,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
which I mean, moves that the administration is making towards academia and so many other things. And yeah,
The
I think
ICE
that,
raids in Chicago, where they were
yeah,
dragging people out of their house in the middle of the night, whether they were
yeah.
guilty or not.
Yeah, it's stark, and so I'll be really interested to hear those conversations next week.
Okay, I think you brought some more lighthearted news. Thank God.
I did. Well, I saw your choice, and I was like, maybe let's like go something a little more fun. But I think there's like more context here that sort of applies to some interesting things happening in the economy right now. Um,
Okay.
so. The story is on September 30th, AOL dial-up service officially ended. So, remember like the screeching, like, like thing in the, 90s. That's how I got, I mean, that's how I got on the internet. And I
Yes,
was
that's
like,
how I got on the internet.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so anyways, that is officially over as of September 30th. Um, and I was reading an AP story about this, and they mentioned that as of 2023, 163,000 households were still using dial-up. It doesn't break down how many of those were AOL, but there are obviously other dial-up providers. Um, and so, anyways, I think it's a fun story to sort of, be nostalgic or think back to what the internet was like at that time and sort of how things have changed. But I think it's also a really interesting reminder of how companies can grow or shrink and develop over time. Um, and AOL was a huge deal in the late 90s and early 2000s during the
Hmm.
dot-com boom, which kind of turned into a bubble and then burst. And we are at a time right now when I mean, folks in the AI industry, in the tech industry, are referring to it as a bubble. Jeff Bezos talked at a conference this week referring to AI as potentially a bubble, though he said, good things will come out of this, right? Um, so I was looking at this a little bit more, and another article from NBC mentioned that when AOL merged with Time Warner in 2000, their joint company was valued at $350 billion. I ran that through a inflation calculator. That's $671 billion in 2025.
That's wild.
And it fell apart. Um, and I'm not saying this is what's happening now necessarily, but OpenAI just finished a private share sale this week, and their company is now valued at $500 billion. Um, so I don't know. I think it's interesting parallels to this moment where there's this new technology is sort of flooding everything, and investors are kind of going crazy for it. And there's likely, maybe, probably going to be shakeouts of this at some point, and who knows what we'll be referring to as the AOL of this era in 20 years.
There are a lot of fond memories of the handshake, as they call the dial-up handshake sound in the YouTube chat. And, this idea of the bubble is really interesting. There was an interesting conversation in the Make Me Smart Discord this week about whether or not what we're seeing in terms of the AI bubble is just Nvidia's money going around
Mm.
in circles and
Hmm.
going
Hmm.
like from Nvidia to OpenAI to Oracle,
Right.
back to Nvidia to OpenAI to Oracle, or some other pathway like that. And I
Yeah.
think there is a lot of interesting reporting to be coming up on that. And as everybody said in the chat, pour one out to AOL
Yeah.
from our youth. I also remember in college, because that was sort of as it was on the decline, everyone using those CDs that they would mail you to get
Hmm.
startup, and you'd use them as like decorations in your dorm room because everybody had so many of those CDs.
They were everywhere. They would just
They
show up
were,
in everyone's mailbox
yeah, and
like
everybody
monthly,
already
right?
had one.
Yeah.
And we turn them into like wallpaper and
Oh,
stuff.
that's great.
Anyway, we're dating
Yeah.
ourselves. We're sounding very old here. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna play a game, as you all know and love it, half full, half empty. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back and it's game time. Drew Jostad is here to host a round of half full, half empty. Drew, take it away.
I'm realizing we have a lot of AI and automation related questions today. So here we go. Faced with a growing number of AI written admissions essays, some colleges are asking for video application essays instead. Are you half full or half empty?
That's a tough one.
So like the folks trying to get into college they have to make a video instead of write an essay?
Yeah, like make a
Right.
video just talking
Yeah.
about themselves.
Uh, I don't know. Where are you at with this?
It kind of reminds me when I applied for my job at Marketplace, they asked me to submit a sort of analysis of two Marketplace stories. and sort of as well as sort of talk about my style of reporting. And I did that by creating basically an audio story, including a music intro, my own narrative. It was a song, I'm an Albatross, by the way, in case anybody's interested. And clips from the audio that they had asked me to review, my analysis, clips from a recording that my brother had made for me of like the last of a thunderstorm in St. Louis, that he had made me this big audio recording of it. So while I was living in Egypt, I wouldn't be lonesome for like rain. And so it was this big elaborate audio piece that I made for my marketplace application, which got me the job. But it kind of reminds me of that. And I think it, especially for a generation that is so video savvy, that could be really good. I'm worried a little bit about the opportunities for discrimination and people who aren't so tech savvy but have other skills. But I think the risk of AI and that just being the shortcut to everything is too great. So I'm going to tentatively say half full. What about you?
I guess I'm a tentative half full too, because I think, being able to highlight people's creativity and intellect in different ways is important. At the same time, like with a huge caveat that like people, I strongly believe people should learn to write and should learn to write essays. I think it's a really important skill. And it makes me sad that maybe we are losing that or losing these sort of cornerstones of that. Um, I would just hope that once you get to college, you can learn to write an essay somehow and don't just run it through ChatGPT. I don't know. But I guess I'm
they
half
have to
full.
bring back all the blue notebooks and make people write them freehand.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next one, Drew?
Next up, are you half full or half empty on using robot arms and computer vision algorithms to automate the process of in vitro fertilization?
I think I may have shared this story on our Slack, actually, in the tech channel. And I think I'm going to go half full, because actually I think I'm going to go all the way full. I'm blanking on the exact details of this technology, but I know it was a story set in Mexico where they were using, basically robots and AI and things to help with in vitro fertilization. And I know so many families that have struggled to conceive, and just how hard and how devastating and how much of a struggle that can be, and just the emotional toll it can take to try to have the family that you want. And so any technology that can make that easier on those families, I'm going to be on board for.
Yeah, I would go half full on that too for those reasons. Yeah. I mean, if it is improving the process of IVF and making it faster and easier for folks, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going back to the story and looking for the inevitable part halfway through where they say that there's something wrong, where it says, none of these studies, which include a first of its kind trial in 2023 by Overture and a 2024 study by Conceivable, has demonstrated that AI-enabled machines are markedly outperforming conventional IVF, though researchers have found the software can excel at key parts of the process, such as picking healthy sperm. And some fertility doctors caution that these AI systems remain untested at larger scale and could at least initially introduce costs and burdens on overworked medical providers. So I'll go back to half full. There's always caveats.
Yeah.
All right. What's the next one, Drew?
Next up, are you half full or half empty on a new feature from OpenAI called Instant Checkout that will allow users to make purchases directly in ChatGPT?
This is with Etsy, yeah, that they're starting this?
Yeah, that's the first one, but it's supposed to roll out more broadly eventually.
One of our newsroom leaders, Kelly Silvera, when OpenAI was first becoming big, I remember she had a very interesting comment on it. She was like, what is this for? If this is just another tool to make us more efficient consumers, is this any good? Is this just another tool to make us buy more stuff more efficiently? for capitalism. and it didn't take very long for that arc to come right back around to shop more. And look, I know that AI was already, and various kinds of machine learning were already shaping our shopping habits, but I'm going to go half empty on this. I think there should be some barriers for purchasing to slow us down, to just not be mindless consumers. And good luck unwinding something that a chatbot purchased for you. And it's like, well, you gave permission. It's like, but I didn't, how do you undo that?
Yeah, I mean, are they literally doing the transact? Like, are you just like, okay, yes, I would like that thing, and like they put in the credit card information, and like it's just happening. Okay, is that what's the deal is? I mean, like, yeah, I agree. It's like, I mean, these companies have to make money at some point somehow, right? Like they're not making very much money, and so
Are they
yeah, like
making any
inevitably
money?
it is ads, right? Like it's eventually it's going to be ads in ChatGPT, probably, right? And this feels like a step in that direction. Um,
My Aunt Nina is half empty, so there. I saw her
okay.
in the chat.
I'm going half. I'm joining you half empty.
Okay. What's next, Drew? Is it time for the poll?
Yes, everybody get ready to vote.
All right, everybody on the YouTube live stream, get ready to vote. Please also like and share it with a friend. Bring somebody else to happy hour next time.
My one question that isn't about algorithms, this is a story from Business Insider pointing to things like quiet quitting or job hopping in the employee side and perfunctory layoffs and demanding hours on the employer side. The question is, are you half full or half empty on the decline of corporate loyalty?
Wait, the loyalty corporations have to us, or the loyalty we have to corporations?
Kind of just all around, that nobody's really treating anybody with any loyalty is the idea.
I saw a video on some social media platform when I was doom scrolling where this guy was talking about this and how he had gotten so frustrated at younger workers just like wanting a promotion and wanting more money without proving themselves first. And he realized that it came from a place of, well, they've never lived in the gold watch era, which he had to explain to the crowd, of a company rewarding you for loyalty and rewarding you with caring for you, with a pension, with a promise that you are going to be treated with dignity at least. And so this younger generation has never experienced a workplace like that. It's always been every person for yourself. You can get laid off at any moment. And so why would they be loyal? And so there's this concept of just get what you can while you can, wherever you are.
Yeah, man, I think I would feel differently on different days depending on what you ask, when I'd be asked about this. I think, yeah, I think there's some amount of loyalty, but it has to go both ways, right? Like it has to, if you are going to give yourself to a job, like there has to be something in return. And obviously there's money involved, but like if they're going to be asking for a certain amount of loyalty, it's got to be a two-way street, I think.
Oof. Ryan
All
Simmons in the chat says, I just retired from NASA. Nothing but loyalty all around until this year. No reason to be loyal until our country changes. Ouch. Well, thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Well, on that note, it looks like 53% are half empty on the death of corporate loyalty. 47% are half full. I think that probably ties into sort of like which side of it are we really talking about? Like it's a mix, right? Jin Peck says employers hit it well until recently. And too many changes. David says half full and decline of loyalty to corporations that have no loyalty to workers, half empty on corporations having no loyalty but to the almighty dollar and those who wield it. Well, that's a powerful way to wrap up the game. We are done with the game, but before we go and before the last of the sun sets over the mountains in Virginia here, we have a quick update on our fall fundraiser, which wraps up tonight, but you can still donate if you'd like to. We are about 100 people away from our goal of 2,000 investors. It's not too late, and we would really appreciate your support. You can help us get there. Just go to marketplace.org/GiveSmart. You can give any amount to start a monthly gift. And of course, we have great swag that you can get in exchange. You can also upgrade your monthly gift if you're already giving one, and we really appreciate that. It all counts towards the goal. So when you chip in, you do help our economic journalism reach everyone. I often tell people we are some of the only business and economic journalism that doesn't live behind a paywall. And we really care about it, and we try really hard to do it. You can count on Marketplace and Make Me Smart for the news that you can trust, and hopefully news you can use.
Yeah, and that's our goal, right? Every story, our aim is to make everyone smarter about the economy, have a better understanding of how this economy works and how different people in all walks of life are experiencing it. So we are able to do that with your help. So you can end your week on a strong note here and help us reach this goal by heading to marketplace.org/GiveSmart, or you can find the link in our show notes.
Yeah. Plus, we're fun to drink with. Come on.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. And speaking of which, thanks for joining us for Make Me Smart, Henry. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kimberly. I loved it.
This is where the music comes in, I think. Nope, that was my fault. I didn't read the right words. We are going to be back next week, so keep sending us your comments and your questions. We are at 508 UB Smart, or you can email us at makemesmart@marketplace.org. Now the music.
There we go.
Blame the wedding wine.
Yeah.
Today's episode of Make Me Smart was produced by Jesus Alvarado. You may hear him on our tech show with help from Courtney Berg-Seeker. Today's episode was engineered by Charlton Thorpe. And the team behind our YouTube live stream is Emily McCune and Antoinette Brock. Our interim supervisory senior producer is Stephanie Seek. Nancy Fargali is executive producer of Marketplace Shows, and Joanne Griffith is our chief content officer. And I'm about to go hit the dance floor.
Yeah, get on the dance floor. Get back to that wedding. Mm-hmm.